welcome back. That was Minna Tsou'i reporting for Nile TV, and back with our Professor Dr. Wael Badawy. He's a member of Communication and Information Technology Research Council and also Professor and Head of the Cyber Security and Data Science Program at the College of Artificial Intelligence. Good morning, Dr. Badawy.
Good morning.
We were just talking before air about the pros and cons of artificial intelligence and modern technology. We need now not only to talk about artificial intelligence, because this is only one sector, but we need to talk at everything at large. I mean, the future at large. Modern technology is going to prevail. You said that there won't be any space in the near future for any TV announcers, for example, for any TV personalities. I mean, artificial intelligence is going to dominate all the spheres and all sectors in multimedia, in all conferences, and most of the forefront scenes in society. So explain to us exactly what is artificial intelligence and how is it being orchestrated or used now?
Artificial intelligence is actually a system, it's not a program. So when we talk about artificial intelligence, it's a system, it's a framework, it's not a single program. The system mimic or attempt to present human intelligence where human can eliminate the use of repeated work. So the system is not really intelligent, the system is trying to mimic the human intelligence. Classically, we used to understand that artificial intelligence is defined as system who can see, can hear, machine learning, the system or the machine can learn few activities, and natural language processing, which means it can communicate and understand natural language. And there was deep learning, which is like using a deep network, using some sort of large volume data to analyze and understand the behavior. So classically, it used to be a system to classify and segment. So I would like to classify or segment these people in a specific sector. These are boys, these are girls, or trying to identify specific. This is a license plate of a vehicle. So this was to be the classical. Around 5 years ago or so, start to create what we call it gang, or having two networks to produce results and have some judgment around these results. By comparing this judgment, we end up right now with what we call it generative AI, which basically AI can produce information that the AI did not learn it before. So when we use classically to teach AI or to have a learning phase, to explain to the audience, initially you have a model and you bring samples of what you would like to classify, the good license plates, the bad license plates.
Do I feed them?
You feed them to the system. The system will adjust the network in a way. They attach it with different weights for expert, but for regular people, it will create a sort of network and nodes. Then what will happen is you bring a brand new license plate that the system never seen it before. And then the system will classify it as good or bad. And that's it. Nowadays, the danger started when we realized that the artificial intelligence system can generate information that the network did not see it before. And this will start to have the big aha moment. The whole system blew out with what we used to know as ChatGPT. When it blew out it doesn't blow out in face of people, but as more customers and more users have been using it, it was ranked the fastest growing technology ever, because it accumulates large number of users in millions in very few months. And this ChatGPT started to get the lights, to shed the lights on this kind of artificial intelligence. It's a computer-based algorithm. So if from the other perspective, is really good or bad, or will it transform everything? 50 years ago, we didn't have computers. Everything used to be done manually or in a different way. Right now, we anticipate to see computers. Like if you go to any bank and you cannot see the numbering system on a computer, you will ask yourself and you will question them why you don't have waiting lines with digital number from the computers. If you go to any service right now, you anticipate to see computer. It becomes a common sense. So AI is coming as a common sense in 3 to 5 years. That's we're supposed to have computer assisted to human activity using AI. There are lots of discussions we can describe about or forecast the future, will it really take our place? Will it really take our jobs? And in particularly when you mentioned about the commentator or the TV host to be a computer program run by AI, the dilemma will be solved if we understand the behavior of the audience. If the audience and viewers will accept to see and interact with a commentator or a TV host AI driven, it will continue to take place from the human touch and human TV host. For sure it has lots of advantages, especially in education, especially in areas where you need a personalized services. So if you have students at risk, you have students who have difficulties. I don't talk about gifted students, and I don't talk about disadvantaged students, and I don't talk about special need or special access. This all are included. So if you would like to have a personalized companion to feed them more training, more tests, more quizzes.
You mean like private sessions and things like that? It's already being done.
Yes. So this kind of services is very important, and it may impact the education system. More or less, if you are discussing the remote service, so if you have areas where you cannot have density of students and is remote, 200-300 away from Cairo, for example, you cannot send professors or doctors or teachers or any kind of qualified humans to these sections because you don't have the density. These teachers will not be busy. And you cannot send one teacher to teach all the subjects. In this case, you can have assistant of computer, which is AI driven, to interact, communicate with the students, with the kids, and it will support the educational service.
And they will create information on their own also while teaching the students.
They can create information, they can communicate.
That means that they are A+ teachers.
A+ teacher is a high judgment because there was actually some experiment in some universities, and they asked if the ChatGPT, for example, can answer questions for...
Exactly, this was going to be my
for exams, like law exam and GMAT test and LSAT test.
It has to be a two-way, communication.
Yes. Computer, I believe they received like B- and C+ in answering these exams. So we cannot overestimate. It's a super. It has a role. And the role has usually to be, it must
as
be...
a start, only as a start, but God only, who knows in the near future, the coming 2 years, how things are going to work.
In my personal opinion, it will be always supervised, controlled by human.
So this means that a teacher is going to be on in the seat of the whoever is taking charge of the session, and students are going to be recipients only.
Yes, the teacher will give instructions even remotely, and then when you need to have practice, the students can turn to the AI to receive more practice, and the AI will judge or will mark the assessment and explain to them back what's wrong with the assessment.
But no communication?
The communication will be a function of how much you can transfer standard language.
Okay.
So,
right. The reason I'm asking that because President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi earlier this week have focused so much, intense focus over the use of modern technology, feeding our new generations with, information about artificial intelligence and acknowledging, preparing them to be founded on a basic a modern technology education and be familiar with the artificial intelligence, even introducing artificial intelligence in the educational system. What exactly do you think the role of technology in educating youth going to be? This is something very important that came by the President.
Our Highness President Fattah al-Sisi has an amazing vision because what you may know if you understand Africa, Egypt is a member of a worldwide activities and operation. Nowadays, with the internet and all of this connectivity, the whole world becomes as a village. So our President Fattah al-Sisi has an amazing vision to establish the very first college or school of AI in 2019. We were in Africa the very first country to host or to establish or to enable, whatever, to create a college called a College of AI. And next door to it, they have to have a College of Computer Science. So the same university which has the two colleges, this was a remarkable initiative. So it's very obvious that education does not serve our population. We get education to find jobs, to start companies, to be entrepreneurs. So education is a mean, it's not a subject. So the brilliant vision of this government is trying to get the tools in our hands, so in the future we shall be able to get jobs for our youth and our new graduates.
That's exactly what he said.
So it's not. I was actually in a different event, discussing the same matter in different place. So I did not. I just watched after what came in the news. So I did not see what he said clearly. But this is the reality. If you
It's
wanna,
common knowledge. I mean.
If you want to understand what is the role of education, is to prepare our kids to be competitive and have a competitive advantage in the future workplace and the future business side, to create sustainable sustainable communities. So if we understand now, computer have been started around 1975, and maybe in the last 10 years, computer rolled over in everywhere and every single activity, in agriculture, in education, in manufacturing, in design, in even self-driving cars, okay? So we anticipate that AI will roll in every mean of our living, and we will live with it. So it's very obvious if we go in and teach our kids and make them familiar, not teach them, make them familiar, making them feeling comfort,
Orient them.
using AI. This will get our kids, when they grow up, to find easy job because they are familiar with technology. So, and we have to differentiate between two things, okay? Number one is, do you really teach them AI to be scientists, engineers, professors, teachers, teaching computer science / AI? Or do you want to use civil engineers, medical doctors, what have you, to have AI as assisting in their profession, and by understanding how the AI will work, they have to judge if the AI decision is correct or not. There is a case which is maybe within the same topic we talk about. Around a few months ago, there was two lawyers who wrote a legal document for the New York court using AI. After the court found out that this has a bogus cases or bogus presidents, the court said, we have been faced with unprecedented situation. They brought the lawyers in, and around mid-August, the Judge Costello said, I will fine each one of them $5,000. And he commended, he said, we have obligation to use the new technology. However, lawyers are the gatekeeper of the quality of the paper going to the court. So the lawyers missed their judgment by not reviewing the output of the AI. I love to say this story because doctors and lawyers and teachers, when they use AI and they get the results, they still have the obligation, according to their code of ethics and code of conduct, to verify that this information valid.
I mean, because this is now it's a little bit critical, to verify only, or just to proofread it again, or it should not be taken by artificial intelligence, and it should be done for humans, since it's a house of justice, and it's something that has to be taken by a human being and not by artificial intelligence. This has to be specified.
This is a very interesting question, because usually in medical doctors or in lawyers or in teaching in schools, there are usually assistants. So in the same case, he says, lawyers usually use students in law and junior lawyers to prepare the material, which incorporate search for similar cases. Same thing when we go in doing...
So he did the same thing?
Yeah. So the question is, can be the assistant automated?
Is it legal? In courthouses, I mean.
It's over there, it's legal, and that's why he did not.
We're not talking about medical spheres, because medical spheres, it's very legal to apply artificial intelligence and modern technology, even in operations, medical operations.
We had actually with Africa Science Foundation, we have actually a 2 days workshop 2 weeks ago in Egypt discussing this particular topic. In medical field, they have the code of ethics and the code of conduct, which what they say with their syndicate. So medical doctors are the first one responsibility for mistakes. So in medical system, you can analyze X-ray, you can decide about MRI and show tumors or what have you. Then the medical doctor will verify that this is an actual tumor based on his training and his practice. So in legal field or in medical field where you have regulations through syndicate, I'm not concerned because the human factor is the one who assumes responsibility. In self-driving car, we have problems because drivers do not have code of conduct, they don't have syndicates. So in legal term, yeah, in legal, majority of the blood analysis and this kind of treatment, majority of them right now are computer assisted.
Exactly.
In medical field, they went to a higher level and they said we can do a remote operation.
Exactly.
And we can get the...
For a long time ago.
Long time ago. However, the one who performs the operation, the human, is the factor. There are, in our community in Egypt in particular, we have lots of discussions and lots of debates. And in my understanding, it's actually much higher heated discussions than what happened in North America and in Europe. Maybe because we care more about our population. So some of the discussions actually went to a crazy point. Usually we understand that the accountability will go to a person or to an entity. So a company will be responsible or a person. There are actually some proposals to put AI as a third type of accountability.
How can that happen?
I don't understand. I'm not a lawyer, but, and I don't have legal training. But some of the discussions they brought us as experts from the technical side as and they call us engineer, which is that I love to be called engineer. And then bunch of lawyers and justice, they will be sitting around the table and debate these kind of concepts. European Union, EU, start to have initiatives along this side because can we really draw a line between human judgment and computer judgment? Can we really train the human?
Exactly. Exactly, this is the point, because I was going to say that in legal spheres and that particular society, there are minor details that should be taken with the human assessment. Everything is it's abiding by law, but then those minor details, especially by lawyers, because this is the core of his job.
I agree, and we always say it's not the word of the law, it's the essence and the meaning of the legal term.
Exactly.
Okay? However, we pay tickets right now. Like I'm kind of going on the other side and say, do we really use AI currently? I'm telling you, yes, we use AI currently in Egypt because we have maybe 10 to 20 million cars. We have 10 to 20 million photos on all cameras for seat belt, for speed violations. And this information will be verified by a human, but the first detector is a computer. Nobody will be able to sit and say, all of these people have been putting seat belts and we should find them. So a computer software there is be looking at each one of this image and then filter out which one has a violation. And then we get the notification through SMS. And whoever from us have a computer access will go to the Egyptian portal and we will start to pay the fine. And then you will get the clearance of you don't have any fines by mail. So this kind of operation is a complete automation of paying fines and taking a ticket, paying the ticket and clear the tickets. This is a complete automation. There are so many components of AI. So there is an AI in blockchain in securing your code or your credit card when you put it. There is a blockchain or kind of security, high-end security, to secure your username and password on this platform. The AI is the one who pick up the one who does not have, in particular, the seat belt. So there is some essence of it, and nobody really care and say, "Oh, it's an AI, I'm scared." People are using it, and our population praise that the government will give me an easy way to access, I don't have to go to the office to pay the bill myself and stand in lines.
Exactly, but still mistakes happen.
Mistakes,
People are complaining because mistakes happen by artificial intelligence.
and the human will correct it. Because when they
Yeah,
go to the
exactly.
office and they say this was a mistake, or they do, they sign, there is an option actually to click on that, I would like to have a second review. Human review will most likely remove the ticket. Which get back to maybe this the title, that human will always correcting what AI will do. So human always will have the upper hand.
So this is going to take us back to the role of artificial intelligence versus the human role, which will never end. The humans will always be dominant and have the upper hand, at least for now.
In my opinion, yes, human will have the upper hand. And you have to remember that AI learned, or AI systems have been trained on human creativity and innovation. Because they read all the newspapers, they know all the information from the internet.
They're fed with that.
They are fed with it. Then you ask questions, it gives you new information, but it's based on human. And then human at the end will be able to judge and entertain a news. The biggest challenge we have, and the biggest warning we always tell, in particularly people who are not experts in the field, be careful when you use this system, because once I ask this system questions and I feed more information, the dangerous now is you are continuously training AI system with new information. So if you want to...
And why is that dangerous?
Because different groups with different interests can feed more information, so the correct information will get lost.
Okay.
And there are lots of debatable information.
And maybe dangerous information also, unethical probably, I mean, all kinds of violations.
All kinds of violation, extreme information can be in there, unethical, wrong information.
And does I'm sorry to interfere, but does the character in the frame of artificial intelligence was fed by the culture or the background of identifying if this is dangerous information, this is unethical, no, I'm going to reject it. I mean, there weren't means like that introduced?
So, if I understand the question correctly, is the framework aware?
Of the program, I mean.
Or it's not a program. You have to change
what is
from,
it then?
we call it either framework or system.
System.
Because before we answer this question, we have to explain. A program is a program you buy, it will never change. In artificial intelligence, you train it and you create the first version of it. Then with the interaction with different users, the network itself or the model will change. So the program itself will change. And if we get two different copies, you ask your copy, I have my copy, after some time, both of our copies will be different. To answer your questions very quickly, yes, after some issues have been discovered, they train AI and they elevate and eliminate a specific use of word, and some specific images, if they show up in AI right now, it will be censored or cancelled. It's exactly what happened with Facebook. After some time, they understand these are violation, are violent, so they remove it. So companies are still doing steps, baby steps, I call it.
To apply that type of system.
Yeah,
but that is really very interesting. It's taking us, it's almost like the science fiction of Steven Spielberg, or I mean those science fiction, the Hollywood movies that would take us to the future, the crazy future, imaginable future that we see it in movie theaters.
It's true, because Steven Spielberg is a visionary. So the ones who wrote this, they have some vision. But we don't believe that robot will actually control us at least in the next 100 years, because it cannot happen. Robots are mechanical, they have so many issues in mechanical systems. Computers, we can basically turn off the power, the computer system will start to reset again. So they went to extreme because it's a movie. But some essence and some activities and some benefit from this kind of science fiction, it's actually in place right now.
We ran out of time, but we have very few seconds for one final question. How do you think this is going to qualify our students, I mean in a positive way, to be the future leaders, entrepreneurs, scientists that are going to change the face of development in any nation?
Because this is a new technology and everybody will use it. So when we prepare our youth and our students and our new graduates in this technology, they will be in demand. If you look at the kind of projects we do at the university, it's a very sophisticated project. Each one of these projects, or almost every other one, or one of every three, it's very qualified to be a startup company or to find the twin jobs in different industries. So it's a way we are preparing our youth ahead of everybody around us to be the leader in this area by training them early.
Hopefully, on that positive note, of course, Professor Dr. Wael Badawy, you are a member of the Communication and Information Technology Research Council. You're also a professor and head of the Cybersecurity and Data Science program at the College of Artificial Intelligence. Thank you very much for coming over this morning.
Thank you. I appreciate the host.
Best of luck. Thank you so much.